Hi guys. So what is the thing that actually matters on YouTube? Because there are so many different things that I've found myself looking up on YouTube, and there are just so many things. No, let's restart that. Okay. Hi guys, day 3 of my 30-day challenge, and today I want to talk about what really actually matters on YouTube when you're getting started. And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because there have been so many different equipment and, from lighting to gimbals to, I can't remember what else I bought, but including courses, tools for SEO. I've purchased those kinds of things. I've done these mental dumping of like, am I going crazy? And I realized that I felt like I was going crazy because I was going into a negative spiral because I was comparing myself to a lot of people on YouTube who had millions of subscribers or hundreds of thousands of subscribers, and they've been doing it for years, and I would be frozen with fear. That's actually why I wanted to challenge myself to do these daily videos so that I can practice to get better speaking on camera. But I've learned three things. There's 3 P's that I want to go over, and that's prioritize, protect, and like, what is my perspective now? So what actually matters on YouTube to me, these are lessons that I've learned over, I would say, a solid 1 year, but it's been, I think 2020, I started another YouTube channel where I was sharing fitness content, and I was basically uploading the audio of my podcast, which I had, onto that channel. So there are like different things that I know, because I also purchased a course to help me with that YouTube channel. I recently bought another course again about 3 months ago. There are all these things that I feel like people are telling me that is important. But what is important to me, these are the things that I want to share here on this video. So the first thing is that, and I have my notes right in front of me. Hopefully it's not, is it blocking? No, it's not showing. Okay. Let's see. You guys are watching me in real time. Trying to check, make sure I understand what I'm saying in my notes here. Oh yeah, so basically, because when I choose to shift my decisions based on what actually matters, that's how I actually press record. That's how I actually got to press publish. And these are the things that I want to share about with you on this video. Okay, so the first thing is prioritizing. Like, what am I going to prioritize from here on out? There are 3 things. The first one is building self-trust. And I wouldn't have said that a year ago. I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago, or I wouldn't have said that a long time ago. But recently I've been learning that self-trust is that important, because if you don't trust yourself, excuse me, if you don't trust yourself, then you're not going to stick to your word, right? Like, we do things or we help other people do X, Y, and Z because we want to help them. We're generous with our time and we're generous with our resources, and we want to be there for people. But when it comes to ourselves, right, and I'm speaking to myself on this, it's really hard to do that for ourselves because, we're accountable to ourselves and our results and the things that happen in our lives for the most part. Of course, the things that we can control, that's what I'm referring to. But we don't or at least for me, I'm going to speak in terms of me. I feel like there are things that when you get to a certain level, you stop there because you feel like you've accomplished this thing, and then you move on to the next thing. And so you basically I become complacent to this thing, and I don't challenge myself to grow from that comfortable place. And because of that, I don't build self-trust. And when I build self-trust, it means that I become more of a self-reliable person. I can depend on myself to say that when I say something, that I mean it and I will follow through. Like saying that I'm going to go to the gym and actually following through. And of course, there are days where I feel tired. I feel like my body physically, I don't have the energy to go to the gym, so I respect my energy. But for the most part, I've challenged myself to show up to the gym more than I ever thought that I could, being in this season of menopause, this forever season of menopause, where your body is a lot more tired. But I've disproved that just because you're menopausal, it doesn't mean that you can't lift heavy weights, right? That's a whole different topic, but prioritizing self-trust from here on out is something that I really want to work on and that I already have been working on. That's why I'm doing these daily videos. And that's the first thing that from here on out I want to prioritize. That's number one. The second thing that I want to prioritize is non-screen time. So there's a bunch of YouTube channels that I was watching dealing with how to get out, like not have so much screen time. And the answer to that, at least what works for me, is this notebook, is having a notebook to put all my thoughts, to store all the different things that I want to watch later. And I have like an index in the front of my notebook where I can refer to, so that let's say I'm keeping quotes. I have an index and I have pages that indicate where these quotes go, so that I can turn, like I can just flip to the page and I can just know that there's a place that I'm keeping all my quotes, and I just have less clutter in my head. So that's one of the things, is this non-screen time. Having this notebook is really something that helps. And I will say that having a notebook is so much better than, I used to always put notes on my phone for at the note section. And trust me, I'm like the queen of apps. In my family, I'm the person who always wants to share a new app. But the phone app, the iPhone Notes app is a place that one of my favorite apps, because I was always putting notes on that. But the thing about putting notes on your phone, you already know what I'm going to say. It's easy to get distracted because there's something else that comes to mind. There's a trigger, picking up your phone, wanting to go and check social media, wanting to maybe text someone or whatever it is. This is very distracting. So I'm prioritizing non-screen time, and that's why my notebook has been a game changer when it comes to not being so distracted. That's actually was the third part. That was number 3 for prioritizing. Let me kind of rewind it. Number 2 is actually building muscle and eating food to fuel my body. And this is not a nutrition topical video, but it's something that I'm prioritizing because the older that I get, I know how important it is for me to have a strong body and to feel good, to have good energy, so that when I want to go out on the weekends with my family, I don't have to feel so drained. And when I'm recording videos like this, I can make sure that I'm feeling this good energy and it would be delivered to you guys instead of giving you like really low energy. Which actually, by the way, having low energy on camera, that is something that I will be showing every once in a while, because that's a fact of life. Like, I'm not going to be showing up here every single time and giving you my 100%. That's just the honest realness of it all. Because something that I've learned from a new mentor of mine online is, she reminded me to make sure that people get all sides of you, right? So like, you have family members that see what you're like when you wake up, that you're grumpy, when you're hangry because you didn't eat for like 5 hours, or, you had a disappointing day because whatever, your coworker said something that, didn't make you feel good, or you had a really negative comment on social media and now you're spiraling down, right? You have all these, like, you're confused one day, you're frustrated because you couldn't figure this thing out. There's all different ways and emotions that we have. That's the way God made us. And so why ignore emotions? And so eating food to fuel myself and building muscle is something that's going to help me to stay strong and to avoid a lot of things that would actually happen, if that would be more of a potential to happen if I wasn't as strong and I wasn't fueling my body the right way for myself. So going back to what I said earlier, the second one, which was actually the third one, which was non-screen time, I was saying that notebook is something that would really help me. It's something that I'm prioritizing because it's helping me to focus on filming content. This notebook, I also have an index where I have something written down called titles for YouTube. And every time I have an idea, I would, in my notebook, write down a big letter T, like a bubble, what is it called? Like a graffiti in the shape of a bubble for the letter T. And those are just titles that I can get out of my brain, I wonder, maybe I can talk about this on a video, and I would write it. Instead of going to my phone and putting notes in my phone and getting distracted. But it's this non-screen time is helping me to focus on filming content, which leads me to the second part of what actually matters to me is protecting time, protecting the time that I have. So protecting this time? No, protecting, I forgot how I was going to say it. Anyways, protecting. It's protecting, and I'll go over it. The first thing that I protect is my quirks, because I know that I have quirks in me. You have quirks in you. Everyone that we know has quirks. And I want to protect that. And what I mean when I say protect my quirks is to make sure that it comes out when I'm speaking, to make sure that I say things that probably sound stupid to other people, because it's just how I show up. And that's what makes my personality come out. I want to protect that instead of looking at another one of my favorite YouTubers and trying to emulate them. And it's not even like I try to emulate them because I want to be like them. It's just because I watch them so much that it comes out. I know you guys know what I'm talking about, but I want to protect my quirks. That's the first thing I want to protect. The second thing is ego disillusion. What that means is really letting go of the need to look impressive, right? I know this is relatable because when you're on camera and you know that strangers are watching, it's like that saying, right? First impressions mean everything. And I want to make sure that people see me in a certain way, right? So I put on this mask, whether it's a mask that makes me look just a little different. It doesn't matter if it's just a little different. And there's a time and place, like when you go to a job interview, you want to make sure that you're a little bit more professional, whatever, I get that. But I'm talking about ego disillusion, where you have this need to think that you have to be a certain way. You have to have this authoritative way about you. And that is something that I'm protecting. I don't want my ego to get in the way of being myself when I put myself on camera. That's why, again, I'm doing these 30-day videos, because I need to practice how to just show up and be myself. And I'm willing to look dumb on camera, like make all these mistakes and ramble, because it needs to be something that repeats itself so I can get better at it. The third thing about what I'm protecting is the beginner in me. Something that I've learned from one of these fitness coaches that I hired a long time ago, like before the pandemic even. I think this was around 2015. I remember I'm sure he learned it from someone else, but he says ABC, always be learning. And, always be learning, that's different from being a beginner. I don't even know why I brought that up. But anyways, being a beginner is something that I want to protect, because if I think that I know a certain topic, I will get humbled really fast, because someone else that has more experience than me will do that. And I will probably fall into a time period where I would feel really bad about myself, and it's just humbling. So I want to always make sure that the beginner in me is here, and it's not necessarily like leading the way, where that's all I am is, making sure that I'm like a beginner and that's all I'm going to help people with. The beginner in me, meaning I'm protecting it because it's the only way for me to be willing to show up on camera, is what I'm saying. So I'm protecting that, because as a beginner in public, being a beginner is scary when you're doing it in public. When you're allowing people into your world of vulnerability, if they know you as someone who's really good at a specific category, a specific career or a specific hobby, and then they see you doing something else like showing up on camera where you don't really know what you're talking about, or you don't really sound like you're sure about this topic, it's vulnerable, right? It feels really, I don't know, if there's a lack of better word, it's embarrassing. You feel embarrassed, right? Or at least I'm speaking for myself. But that's why I want to have a beginner's mindset, because when I'm in public, I want to make sure that goes back to my quirks, that my quirks come out, and that I'm just really myself, and that I'm genuine at being who I really am. And really, there's no need to really have a specific posture and make sure that you look a certain way, because otherwise nobody's going to respect you. Because the fact of the matter is that more and more people online are really pointing out the truth, which is there's so much fast-paced content out there. There's so much curated content that, how do you say it, that doesn't show the realness of life. Like, there's one thing to have cinematics, make things look really nice and aesthetics and all of that, which I love so much. But if there's so much of that, people tend to lose themselves because they're set on their mind is set on that and delivering that, as opposed to just delivering themselves. And again, I have nothing against, cinematic styles, ways of showing up on camera, because that's actually how I started here on YouTube recently, about a year ago. And I love that stuff. I have so many YouTubers that I follow that are very creative, and I love that. I love seeing a lot of young people who are creative. But if it's something that, this is for me, right? So if you can relate to it, it means that maybe you don't need to go the route of being all cinematic and making sure your videos are perfect, because then you can lose yourself in it. And that's basically the mistake that I made. Okay, those are the three things that I am protecting. So the first one was prioritizing. From here on out, it was building self-trust. Well, let me go through that later. I'll recap later. So the very final thing, it's prioritizing, protecting, and now I'm on perspective. What I mean is, what changed my perspective in this YouTube game is I was tired of performing. I was tired of trying to put on a face to make myself look like I belonged on camera. Like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, that's how I'm describing it. Because I think there was a standard in my head, in my mind, that you have to sound and look a certain way when you present yourself on camera. Based on all the YouTubers that I followed, right? I felt like in my head that you had to perform just a little bit. And that's fine if you want to perform just a little bit. But when it gets too much and you cannot even imagine. It's like, imagine, like, think of a YouTuber that you follow and you love. Is that how they really sound when you sit down with them having lunch? Or does their video make them sound more theatrical and a little sanitized, right? So I just, there's something that I love about raw and real and a little dirty, a little messy, because it's the truth of life. It's the way life is. It's messy and it's real. So I changed my perspective because I was tired of the performing side of YouTube. I was really getting exhausted trying to be a little bit more different, and I'm just honestly done with that. So this, and then there's just too many authoritative, theatrical sides to YouTube that I almost fell into. So that's why my perspective has changed to go a different direction on this channel, or on YouTube. And the other reason what changed my perspective is I really wanted a minimal approach to show up on YouTube. I wanted to be able to press record and do like the most minimal editing ever. Like, maybe just cut the front off just a little bit, maybe just put some captions, maybe music at the end. Basically, that's how I've been doing my videos. As if you've been hearing my videos, that's how I've been doing it. But when I was doing vlogging, And even my other YouTube channel where I had some fitness content, it was crazy because when you're teaching someone fitness, you have to show all these different angles to make sure that you cover the different angles so they understand what you're doing. And that was a lot of work. It was very, very time consuming. And I'm tired of that. Like, I wanted an approach. And then recently when I was vlogging, there were all these different angles that I had to do. And then mind you, being out in public when I was vlogging, it was anxiety ridden, to say the least. It was just very energy draining at the end of the day. The most exciting to me, vlogging, was sitting down in my bedroom all by myself, like editing and looking at all the footage. But that was time consuming. So I changed my perspective with YouTube. Because YouTube is a long game. My perspective has changed, and now I want the most minimal approach. Again, that's why I'm showing up raw in these videos, because there's still a way to deliver value to people, and this is the way that I'm doing it. The other reason, well, I'll give you a bonus at the end, but the third reason why my perspective has changed here on YouTube is there's an online mentor that I've been following, and her name is Glow, and she has been so impactful in my journey. She's such a breath of fresh air to me, because she's not all about like hard and fast and make sure your hooks are like this and make sure you have an outro ready and make sure you have an outline and make sure you follow everything. It's like, she's the one that influenced me to, she's the one that encouraged me to just put yourself out there. Like, she didn't even say it that way. She said it differently. She's really simple in her words, and maybe it's this part of my journey where I finally was so tired and she came at the right time. Nonetheless, like, it's time for me to just like have a minimal way to show up, and this is it. This was the answer for me. And honestly, it's the only way to find your voice. It's the only way for you to figure out what it is that you know, your passion can come out, and you can help people with an experience that you had and you just mentioned it on your video. It's just finding your voice. Like, wait, I think I'm kind of losing my train of thought right now. Let me regroup. Let me just take a sip of water. Anyways, I was just saying that my perspective has changed, and this mentor of mine, it was the right time for me to finally have a very minimal approach, to have these goals that were so low that I would have no excuse but to do it anyways. Let me see, what else was I gonna say? Oh, let me give you the bonus. Okay, so the bonus is, okay, let me look at my watch really quick. It took me about almost 3 hours to get these things set up, from writing some outlines, my outline, from writing my outline to setting up like a small area and figuring out like technical issues, because this phone was really like acting up. Like, every time I tried to upload, like the day 1 and day 2, the video that I was trying to upload was corrupted, which I found out last night. It wasn't corrupted, it was just the settings were on what is it, ProRes, and it was taking up so much space. Anyways, the bonus is to, when you do these videos where you show up every day, it will teach you so much faster. It will exemplify, is that the word, exemplify? It will speed up the process of you learning the different technical issues that has to be sorted out in order for you to actually sit here and be on camera and have your video recorded. So from thinking of an idea of what to talk about, thinking of a topic, writing an outline, making sure my area is set up, and switching my recording from this phone to my husband's spare phone, setting up my mic with all the technical things, like setting up an app on that phone that I'm recording on, setting up the mic, making sure that all of these things are in line, they were updated, and I'm using a MacBook here on my left-hand side. or it's on your right hand side, I think. But it's to make sure that I'm using it as a monitor, because I have this paranoia that it's not recording. So I can see that it's recording. And so anyways, the bonus is to just get yourself to a place of doing daily videos, because you'll find out all these different components that you will learn really fast, and make sure that it will be smooth later, quicker, when you figure the problems out now. So like, if I was, in other words, if I was not doing daily videos, I would be doing maybe every 2 months, I would do one video. And I would use all that time to plan, to prep, to go into ideation mode, to think of all these different titles that I can do, these topics, and look up all these keywords and make sure that they line up with my title, and just go to ChatGPT and get more ideas. It was too much clutter in my head. And that's the other thing, is I hardly ever look at ChatGPT anymore. I like to write down my ideas so that my videos, my content will sound like me and not like a robot, not like ChatGPT, which I still use ChatGPT for a lot of things, but it really dissolved my voice. It diluted my voice so much, and my personality. So that's the bonus, is if you prompt yourself to get to recording daily videos sooner, it will help you to figure out all the technical issues that you will inevitably run into, and you will learn how to manage that sooner, rather than if you post once a week, or even once a month, or once every 2 months, where you won't have a flow to figure out, oh, I need to make sure my mic is updated. I need to make sure that, whatever, this and that is in place before I hit record. It'll just give you quicker, faster way to be better at this craft, because obviously it's not just like, oh, I'm going to talk about fitness today. I'm going to sit down and talk about it and share, or whatever. Like, there are so many different parts to creating a YouTube video. It's not just finding a topic, sitting down, pressing record, and publish. I still have to come up with a description, and I don't even really spend a lot of time on that anymore, because my mentor Glow has mentioned that it's, in the beginning, it's not about like perfecting your thumbnail. It's not about perfecting the intro per se. It's just showing up. Just use this time to practice. So anyways, let me just go over really quickly the 3 P's. It's prioritizing from here on out. Like, how to actually show up on YouTube is I prioritize it differently. This time I'm protecting these things, and what changed my perspective. And I'm really excited about where my channel will be going, because again, I don't know what topics I will be talking about for sure. Right now, I feel like it's helping people to show up on camera, even if they are so scared. They're so afraid of judgment. They're so afraid of like messing up. Because if I can do this, and I'm trying to find a different way to say that, because it's so cliche and you're probably so tired of hearing it. You know what I was going to say, right? If I can do it, you can do it. I need to come up with a better line for that, because sometimes cliches, or a lot of the times cliches, are just like over your head. You don't even care about what it means. And I want to phrase that in a way where it's more sticky. Anyways, if I can do it, you can do it. There's no other way to say it at the moment. But yeah, the reason why I say that is because I was frozen for a very long time, guys. Like, even if I have a couple of vlogs up on this channel, those videos took me a very long time to put together. They didn't have any structure to it, but I was only enjoying, for the most part, the editing part, because I was in my bedroom and I was really enjoying learning and figuring out how to use DaVinci Resolve. But that's the other thing. I need to practice how to exit these videos to say an outro. But for now, I just want to say thank you for watching. This is day 3. I will see you back on the next video tomorrow. This is such great practice for me, and I'm speaking to my future self. Great job. And you're only on day 3. My mentor told me that once you get to day 30, you're not even going to be afraid. You're going to be like, what was I afraid of? I feel like I'm a little bit ahead of a lot of people because I've been showing up on camera since like 2019, but it's been a long time, so I feel very uncomfortable. But I do know all the struggles, the internal wrestling that comes with showing up on camera. So I feel good. I feel proud that I'm here, and I want you to say the same thing for yourself. So anyways, for now, I'll see you on the next video, and thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Bye.